Welcome to the next and final edition of 300 Seconds from Cannes. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Emma and Jules from Spark AI. So welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us, Patrick.
Yes. How has your Cannes been so far?
Good. This is
A whirlwind.
final day. So yeah.
We go home tomorrow, and that's probably about right.
Yeah.
But it's been great. Lots of interesting conversations. We've had a chance to meet with some clients, meet with some people who might like to be clients, and we've picked the vibe of all the chat that's going on here. So really, really valuable day.
So you guys are now nearly 2 years old? Or
2 and a bit.
2 and a bit years old.
Yeah. So we are. We launched in spring 2024.
Right. Okay.
So we are two and a half, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So feeling quite grown up. Yeah.
Very
Well,
fast.
I was going to say, in the world of AI, 2.5 years nearly is pretty grown up.
It is. Yeah.
How has the conversation changed in that 2.5 years that you're having with clients, agencies?
I think right at the start, a lot of it was around like just what AI tools should I get? It was
Yeah.
that good old conversation, which I think we were still hearing even this time last year at Cannes.
What platform should I be on? And what, should I save my prompts so I can use them again? Yeah, it was that,
Crazy,
that was
isn't
the
it?
level
Yeah.
of the convo.
But I think Cannes is a good indication of where the conversation is at with our clients as well. But that we didn't hear that once, thankfully, this time.
Yeah. Last year it was all just experiment with this stuff, get familiar with it, and this year people are starting to understand what's the value it's really adding. Like, how do we talk to clients about this stuff? How's it impacting pricing models? How do I get my team around it?
But that it's all really about the human change management side of this.
Right. Okay.
And if AI is making mediocre free, how do you be excellent?
Yes.
So that you can still charge good money for it.
Yeah.
A lot of agency leadership teams initially approached AI with an efficiency lens.
Yeah.
And if all you're doing is making your delivery faster, your client is going to expect it to be cheaper. And if your only conversation with your client is how you're using internal tools to streamline your process, you've set that trap for yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
So we try to encourage teams to kind of flip the narrative on that and stop looking internally and look externally. Like, how are you using AI to deliver more value to your client?
Yeah.
Because that's the conversation that gets them interested and keeps them paying good money for you.
Yeah, I think a lot of agencies have been seeing AI upskilling as sort of cost of doing business, but actually it's an investment and it's a value add.
Yeah.
And really flipping how they're seeing it. I think we're starting to see that come through a lot more now. It's definitely not there. But it's starting to get there.
I was listening to a panel at Beamer House on Tuesday, and this conversation came up. And interestingly, the chief executive of Digitas UK, Anne, I forget her surname, was talking about how now in client pitching processes, if they know that it's being primarily led from a procurement lens, they often pull out of the pitch now.
Really?
Because all they're going to be done is hammered on efficiency and with AI. And actually they want to talk a value game, and like they're investing a lot in being able to deliver new capabilities for clients. And that conversation just doesn't work when all the procurement team wants to do is see your rate card.
And also, I think efficiency with AI is a really difficult thing to prove still, because it takes a lot of determination to use that efficiency time that you saved in a different way.
Yes. Yeah.
If your account manager says, "Oh, okay, AI helps me save 3 hours a week," how do you ring fence that 3 hours and repurpose it for something else?
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. Yeah.
Yes.
It gets sucked up in busy work very easily. Yeah.
To us, we're not quite in your world, but 6 months ago, it was more about efficiency. Now there seems to be this realization that none of that exists without the human in the loop, the person that is the governance, check what's come out right, making sure it's on brand. Has it changed?
It's starting to, I would say.
Right.
I think the default assumption for a lot of leadership teams when they talk about AI in their business is they think AI equals automation.
Right. Yeah.
And they're very different things. And we try to help them put a different lens on that, which is, for sure, there are some things you can kind of semi-automate. But when you're doing high-end knowledge work, like agencies do, where context and nuance and relevance are all what make you valuable, AI can't do all of that. It's about augmenting your team, not automating what you do. And so how do you use these tools to help your team elevate their work? It's not about giving your work for the AI to do. It's about how is the AI helping me do better work.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think some of those things are also things that we're telling people that they need to start thinking about, as well as them coming to us.
True. We do guide the conversation.
Yeah, but I think what we're seeing more and more now is actually we may have done some work on AI in the agency, we may have done some upskilling, may have done some transformation work, may have worked with us, but it's actually how do you then keep that going and not let it fall off a cliff? And you sort of say, you get this like ceiling effect where you're no longer aware of the art of the possible that's beyond that, and you're not turning from sort of individual skills into agency kind of value and cross agency workflows. So I think that's more what we're starting to see now.
It's interesting. We do quite a lot of training for agencies, and we'll say to them, this is not the important bit. It's carrying it on afterwards and embedding it in the agency and making sure it's repeatable and everyone embraces it, rather than train some people and we're off now.
Absolutely.
And the temptation is that that's a quick fix.
Yes,
just like
doesn't
buying,
do anything.
Buying the tools.
Yes,
I've done it now.
And we're finding a change in that conversation as well. Like agencies we're getting many more agencies come to us saying, we don't want training, we want a partnership.
Yeah. So recently you guys launched a report around AI adoption in agencies. So what are the biggest things that have come out of that?
There were several sort of key big things that came out, but the one that really stuck with me is actually what we touched on earlier about how most teams are now finding they're saving time, or individuals are saying they're saving time by using AI, but it's just being lost in emails. The normal admins.
Is the agency seeing the benefit?
So actually, the ROI isn't there because that time isn't being used for something else. It's not being used to add more value to the client, or to do an internal project, or to do more AI upskilling to then have a sort of multiplier effect. There's
people report that they're saving time with AI, but they feel busier than ever.
Yes.
There's this sort of productivity paradox, I think we call it, where it's we found 87% of people, I think, reported that they were saving at least some time with AI each week, and their biggest barrier to using AI was lack of time. And you're like, okay,
you've just saved some time.
Why didn't you reinvest that in learning to use AI? So that's a big challenge.
And I think at the same time, because with the constant sort of learning that we're doing, there is this higher cognitive load in a way than we'd normally have in our workplace when we feel like we're a master of our craft. We're constantly evolving our skills to find new ways to master our craft now. And so there's something really interesting where that time is going. Partly it's going there, but that bringing the value back to that is kind of intangible at the moment. It hasn't landed.
So a big mantra that anyone who's worked for Spark will know well is think AI think, which is think first about what your problem really is, and which bits the AI is going to help you with and which bits it's not. Then engage with AI, and then think about what came out, like what's good, what's not good, how do you refine it, how does it help you make your decision. And I think hanging on to the things that are human is really important. We teach teams to have the moment AI helps you generate options and answers, it constrains your thinking. Suddenly you're only evaluating the 5 options it gave you. And you're not thinking about the 5 or 10 other options there could have been. So have your own ideas first, brainstorm with your team with the laptop shut. Use that as a starting point, and then engage with the AI. Right?
That's what we kind of download our brain into it and ask it to order it for us, rather than ask it for it to come up with an answer. And you guys both come from creative agencies, or we're generally from media side. How creative, is based on precedent, based on what happened in the past. How original can an AI be in its answers to challenges?
So, great question. And actually, we find agencies are often trying to point AI at the wrong kinds of problems.
Right.
So, and a great one, we work with strategy teams, brand strategy teams, campaign strategy teams that are coming up with concepts for clients. And everybody wants to, can it help me come up with ideas? It's like, that is the fundamental bit of your job that your client is paying for. Do not outsource that to the AI.
The originality.
The AI can help you with the research. It can help you string threads together. It can help a narrative around your idea, and it can help you explore how that idea might play out across different channels or different audiences. But the idea has to be yours. You've got to believe it. You've got to feel it. You've got to want it, because otherwise, what's your client paying for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of conversation in the industry about AI removing those entry-level jobs, which everyone then says, well, what happens in 5 years' time when all those entry-level jobs have gone? When you're speaking to your agencies and clients, are they looking at AI as a replacement or an augmentation to to augment what their teams are doing? Or does it vary?
I think this is a you question, Jules. I heard you answer this really well days ago.
Okay, I'll have a go. Yeah, the entry-level jobs question is a big one, and I'm not suggesting we know the answer to that yet. But for sure, in a world where like AI, you need to know what good looks like to get the best out of AI. And so when you're at the start of your career and you haven't learned what good looks like yet, are you at risk? Yeah. I think a couple of things. One is, I think we're too quick to assume that young people's careers will map the same way that ours have done, right? Yeah. Their careers and the skills they need are going to be very different. Yeah. And I've seen this happen in my own career. I spent 20 years as an advertising photographer, and I started out at the beginning of the digital transition in photography, when the old school film world was giving way to digital. And it changed the skills you needed as a photographer. It created new roles that didn't exist before. Yeah. But it created many more photographers because it became more accessible. Yeah. But ultimately now, all of us have got a phone in their pocket with a camera that is probably better than what I was shooting campaigns with in 2005. Yeah. How many people are photographers? Yeah. Not many. Yeah. So, technology is not the same as capability. And a second thing is like, I've stolen this example. I can't remember where I picked it up from, but a profession that we've been trying to automate for 100 years is accountancy. Yeah, we invented adding machines, and then we invented calculators, and then we invented computers and Excel, and then we invented SaaS platforms like Xero, and still there's more accountants than there's ever been. Yeah, but what's changed is, what being an accountant is today is very different to what being an accountant 100 years ago was. Yes, yeah. And I think we need to think about our careers that way. Yes.
With all the changes that are going on in the industry, what are you guys most excited about over like the next 12 months?
I'm really excited about how people are starting to see the people side of AI and really think about workforce transformation, organizational structure change, how new job roles will emerge, hybrid job roles, not just putting AI in front of every job role, just actually looking at how silos can be broken down, and how people can do more interesting work as well. And I'm really, on the flip side of that, I mean, I'm super interested in sort of workplace and workforce sort of aspects of this, but how, if we're using AI positively to enhance our worlds and our jobs and our lives, how can we unleash ourselves from the unhealthy aspects of our work as well? Can we sit at a desk all day? How can we, as creatives, be out and about more, using AI as a collaborative partner to gather some of that inspiration? And we're starting to see a little glimmers of that come through in the conversations here at Cannes.
Amazing. So in terms of regulation, so the regulations around AI in Europe are going to be very different to the regulations in the US. How important do you think regulation is?
So, well, we're seeing the full power of the EU AI Act start to come into force now. Yeah. So AI-generated content within the EU will need to be digitally watermarked from August, using tools like Google SynthID and others. Yeah. So there's a requirement for using the right kind of technology that does watermark work in that way to make it identifiable. We've seen the US go from a very laissez-faire attitude to AI to now actually having models withdrawn from the market because of security risks. Yeah. So the government becoming very interventionist in a way that a year ago you would have never imagined. So I think some aspects of how we're going to see regulation develop, I think, are predictable. The EU AI Act is there. It's got a timetable for how these tools come into force. I think some is going to be very unpredictable, like we've seen in the US. And thirdly, one thing that we've not talked about really is what's the consumer reaction going to be to all of this stuff as well. And, you know, at what point do people feel they're being fed too much AI slop because people are pushing out tons of content that's not very good?
At what point is everything watermarked?
And the trust that consumers, will they then start to trust it because it's everywhere? Will they distrust it and they'll only go for the real stuff? It's just going to keep changing, isn't it?
And how that's going to play out, requires agencies to be, you know, have their ear to the ground and like be work with their brands to understand that, and you know, and it's very contextually specific depending on what you're doing. You know, some of the e-commerce fast fashion brands have been really leaning into AI generated imagery for their e-com websites. And when Mango went very public with the fact that they were using AI generated imagery at the end of last year, I was impressed because as a photographer, I was thinking that the imagery was getting good enough. I was finding it hard to tell.
Couldn't tell.
I was finding it hard to tell. They were labeling it, very small print. But so, you know, they've clearly developed the capability to do it well. I went on their Instagram account, and interestingly, most of the feedback wasn't about ethical stuff, about, oh, this is putting people out of work, or is this true? People were worried about, are the clothes really going to look like that?
Interesting.
It was just really practical considerations, like if it's been generated by AI, is that what it really looks like?
Yes.
Is that what it's going to look like on me? So, you know, so you can't predict how people are going to respond to this stuff, and I think that's a real evolving world, and how governments are going to respond is going to evolve. Yeah,
absolutely. So, my final question to you guys. So, at the inception of 300, we ended up with a mascot, and it was a goat, and it had wings on it. There's a story for another time, but we like to always ask our guests, through your career, who has been your GOAT, your greatest of all time, that person, people, agency, place that's helped make you who you are, got you to where you are today, influenced you the most? Do you want to take that?
I think it's probably my parents.
Okay. That's good, yeah.
They're farmers, so they're the ultimate entrepreneurs who've had to pivot many times through their careers.
As a farmer, absolutely, yeah. Right.
I think it's them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's great. That's probably the best answer that we've had all week, I have to say. It's been an absolute pleasure. This is the end of 300 Seconds from Cannes. Hope you've enjoyed it. There will be lots of follow-ups, and we will see you very soon. Thank you.